I believe we are, and that's why I work for this organisation, a non-profit charitable trust. This land is not technically public land in the sense it's owned by the Arts Council. Southbank Centre administer it as a non-profit charitable trust. Therefore, any commercial use of this land for photography is rightfully something Southbank would want to know about and perhaps derive a fee for a license.
If you're saying, you know, someone taking a picture with an iPhone of the surrounding area shouldn't happen because it's owned by the Arts Council, which is funded by we the people, then I think you're on dodgy ground. I think it's a really, you know, a freedom.
I'm acknowledging that.
Let me just finish.
Yeah.
You know, Southbank Centre is about 47% funded by publicly funded, and then the rest of the money comes from elsewhere. I didn't know that the Arts Council owns the land. Arts Council's funded by us. You know, freedom of expression is something that an organisation that champions the arts should champion. And the freedom of expression to take a picture of your smartphone of the coffee you've just had in Starbucks, or the freedom of expression to take a picture of some security guards lurking next to a skateboarding and Long Live Southbank campaign, or the ability to take a picture of a fence. You know, it's these are my freedom of self-expression issues. And you know what's interesting, you raised the issue about ownership. I mean, the Southbank Centre has apologised to its 138,000 Twitter followers. It said sorry to me. They atted me and said sorry. They said our untrained staff or whatever it was didn't know the rules. So you're defending a position that even the Southbank Centre has actually caved in on within less than 24 hours.
Lots of open designed to be stated.
I've been astounded how much there is. So, for example, this here is not a design feature as you may think, to separate two couples being able to sit there quite happily. It's actually to stop skating.
But it's about trying to control how the space is used in a very subtle way sometimes. So you would never know unless you are a skateboarder. That kind of. What's interesting now is, and it's actually down by the Shell Centre, Jubilee Gardens. The anti-skateboarding devices aren't just add-ons anymore. They're actually part of the design when the architects are making the plans, and there's grooves along there that are all into the banks already. It's also anti-homeless. If you look at benches, how benches used to just be wide and you could just squeeze everybody in, and then suddenly they've got lots of partitions. That's to stop the homeless people having a bed for the night. It's this kind of defensible architecture. It's quite insidious and quite nasty, but it's very thought out. It's very planned, and in the same way. It's the privatisation of the public realm. You can't do this here. We make this space sterile, because we want it to be nice. And if you're not engaging in economic exchange, you're not buying a latte or whatever, you're not allowed. Or, we don't want you to take a picture because, we want to protect our brand. It's that kind of thing. It's really interesting today, isn't it, that there's absolutely no security following us around, where on any other given day. This chap with his video, doing his video.
Well, we could say hello to CCTV.
Like that. You're not going to be able to hear people talking to each other, let alone someone skating behind you. So it can cause some real issues.
Thank you. This is a particularly busy part of the day. Imagine 8 a.m. or at 6 p.m. It's pretty noisy. But the reason why it's not is
a good example of why it's a bad space.
Space anyway, because you're not going to have shops here or anything else because of the noise.
There may be some sound insulation from the roof structure. I can't comment technically on how much insulation that will be provided, but there will be a substantial additional roof structure under the bridge for the specific reason to stop the rain coming through, because it's a totally porous structure.
And more important,
but I don't know how much that will reduce the sound.
That's been compromised and reduced. Actually, that's important. Originally, they said there was £100,000 to create a skate space. That was then changed to £1.2 million. Once again, public pressure and the campaigns really forced them to look at it again. then became £1.2 million, then it became £1 million, and now they just issued a legal document saying they're committed to making a space here, which now says up to £1 million. So that could be £2.50, you know, or £4.50. Who knows? It's up to £1 million. Because if the undercroft is closed, that will be the end of skateboard culture at the Southbank Centre. Street skating as we know it, and the culture that is infamous there and iconic, will be completely gone. And we want people to understand that it's not a replacement.
I mean, every time I hear more about all of this, the more I just remind myself that the guy that runs the Southbank Centre used to be the chairman of Saatchi & Saatchi. So you've got some of the, you know, there's a PR brain there, isn't there? But at the same time, they're quite an arrogance with it because their brand, I mean, it should be aware of brand awareness. I mean, I love the Southbank Centre. I've always used it. But more and more information I hear about this, I just kind of feel like it's a brand, it's something I just don't want to be associated with anymore. You know, it seems to be run by, you know, oilmen and bankers and PR men. I mean, it seems to be run by, you know, oilmen and bankers and PR men.